Elbert County Planning Commission, it's December 19th. Time is 7:02. If you could all please remove your hats, stand, we'll say a prayer and a pledge.
Dear Lord, thank you for allowing us to come together as a community and be with us as we begin this meeting today. Give us wisdom, discernment, and guidance to reach the best possible outcome. Please be with our first responders and our military and those that put their lives in harm's way to protect us. Thank you for all our blessings as we know they all come from you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, roll call, please.
Chair Danny Wilcox.
Here.
Vice Chair Kevin Kirkwood.
Here.
Van Sens.
Here.
Dwayne Owens.
Here.
Eric Carlson.
Here.
Mike Buck.
Here.
Roger Burton.
Here.
Dee Dee Schott-Grace. Dee Dee Schott-Grace. Absent. Robert Politik.
Here.
That concludes the attendance.
Thank you. Okay, what's next here? Cell phones. All right. Can silence them, please. All right. Staff report. Mark.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mark Dedenrader, Director of Community and Economic Development, Elbert County Government. Planning Commissioners, as you're aware, you heard the EC West PUD and preliminary plat, and that was approved by the Board of County Commissioners. There was a BOCC meeting on December 13, and then that actually carried over into December 14 with an approval on both of those. The service plan for the metro districts, you'll hear that. I'm sorry, the BOCC actually will hear that on January 10th, 2024. And then as far as our first Planning Commission meeting goes for 2024, it'll be January 2nd, and we actually will not have any land use items for you to consider. We'll just have a work session that night, and we're going to be talking about some minor regulation update proposals for you. So that concludes that piece of my staff report. At this time, Mr. Chair and the Planning Commissioners, I'd like to recognize two Planning Commissioners that will be moving on, and we have Dwayne Owens, and we also have Roger Burton. And if you gentlemen would please join me up here in front of the flags, and I'll present you with a certificate of appreciation. Thank you so much. Start with you, Roger. Roger joined the Planning Commission on February 2nd, 2021. And we, as staff here at Elbert County Government, the Planning Department, certainly appreciate your service. And I know the County Commissioners really do. And Commissioner Chair Chris Richardson has signed this document. This is just a recognition of your hard work and selfless dedication to volunteering on the Elbert County Planning Commission since February 2, 2021. So that's almost 3 years, and we really, really appreciate it. So thank you for your service. Thank you. All right, Mr. Owens, Wayne, you're up, sir. How are you? Good. All right. It reads the same. Unless you'd like to read it again. No, it's fine. Are you all right with that? Thank you very much. Okay, great. And Wayne, I'll speak for staff, the planning department, and we really thank you for all you've done on the Planning Commission, and your service is greatly appreciated and respected. And thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Best wishes to you. And thank you. And after we do have a And Mr. Chair, that concludes my staff items for tonight's agenda, and thank you kindly.
Okay, Mark, thank you, and you too. Thank you very much. Dwayne, Roger, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, it's been good. You guys did well. Okay. All right, on to the next thing. Consent agenda items, nothing?
Mr. Chair, no consent agenda items, sir.
Okay, next part is citizen comments, unrelated to any application that we have here tonight. We only have one, so if there's any comments that would like to be made regarding anything else? Okay, seeing none, okay, we'll go on to the next thing. Okay, approval, we've got a few meeting minutes to go through. First one, November 7th.
Mr. Chair, I started out that meeting being Roger Burton, and on page 6, I changed to being Roger Buck. And I really like Mike, but I don't think he's my brother.
No,
So
no,
on
probably
page,
not.
on page 6, where it reads Roger Buck, it should be Roger Burton, and on page 7, same comment. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
oh, good catch, Roger. Good catch.
With that, I move
Okay.
approval of minutes for November 7th.
I have a correction.
As corrected.
Okay, that's correct.
Correction.
You have another one? Go ahead, Mike.
One more correction. On page 9 of the packet, I said it was 10% of the current population of Elbert County. It's actually at build-out, it'll be closer to 25%, not 10%.
So noted, thank you. You had a second, but that was pulled. Who was the second?
I seconded, but we'll pull it.
We'll pull it.
Oh,
Do we need to restate?
I accept the amendment.
Second?
And that was Kevin again? Thank you.
Okay, what was stated at the meeting? 10%. 10%. That's what stands. These are minutes. These do not go as corrections to a statement. These are minutes that were stated, and that statement will stand. Okay? You don't correct the minutes
Okay, right.
to amend a thought. So, at the time, we have one correction. Roger, you brought that? Okay, so at that point, we are, with that amendment, do we have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Okay, then all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next set of minutes, we've got the November 8th PC minutes. Okay, did you do them as a group? I think they were separate, correct?
Because they were separate days.
Yes, so you ran the minutes, so
But-
do we have a motion? Do you have some
Yeah.
amendments on that?
Mine was for the 7th only because I wasn't at the,
Yeah, at the 8th. Okay, do we have any amendments or anything for the 8th? Nope? Okay. So move for the 8th? I'll move to approve them. I'll second it. Second? All in favor?
aye.
Aye, okay.
I'm sorry, the second was?
All right, now we're going to start into our hearing process. We have one hearing tonight. We have one application. We have the Charno Bragan Dog Breeding SUR. Okay, now let me go over our hearing process. First thing, we are a volunteer board. What we do, we're a quasi-judicial board. We judge the application based on the codes and ordinances that are in place. That is our role. We do not create any other rules. We don't look at any other thing other than our codes and ordinances. Okay? So at that point, the hearing starts out. The hearing will be presented. The application will be presented by our staff. Then I will ask whoever is representing the application, if you could stand and give us some more information. Okay, then we will go to public comment. We will ask that people state their name and address and then give their comments. After that, I will go back and ask if maybe we can answer questions that were brought up in public comment. Okay, after that's completed, then we will go through a question and answer process. After that's done, then we will vote. And the vote can go one of three ways. It can go vote to recommend approval, recommend denial, or recommend approval with conditions. And when I say recommend, that's all we can do as this board, because the ultimate decision will go to the Board of County Commissioners. Okay? So with that, if we could start, please. Who is presenting the application?
My name is Catherine Armstrong. I'm a land use planner with Elbert County, so I am presenting tonight.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I will be presenting the Toronto-Bragan Acres dog breeding SUR case today. The case number is SUR 2023-1397 on behalf of Samantha and Alan Graham, the owners of Toronto-Bragan Acres. And then this special use by review request is for a small in-home dog business which will have no more than 10 dogs at a given time. And for some background on the case, the applicant is Samantha Graham, who's the owner and operator of Toronto-Bragan Acres LLC. The address is 1397 Santa Fe Trail, Elizabeth, Colorado 80107. And the property owners of the Santa Fe Trail residents are Samantha and Alan Graham. The application was formally submitted on September 19th, 2023. The referral processes were October 23rd to October 19th, 2023, and November 19th to December 7th, 2023. And the hearing dates are tonight, December 19th, 2023, and the Board of County Commissioners on January 10th, 2024. This SUR has met all the notification requirements. One, I'd like to note there was no community meeting for this project. Samantha spoke to her neighbors and they agreed and did not feel they need the need for a community meeting. It was formally waived by CED Director Mark Dettenheimer. I believe information for the waiver is in the Planning Commission packet on Civic Clerk. If not, CED can provide a copy of the waiver information. My apologies, yes. For the Planning Commission meeting notifications, the mail notices went out December 5th, 2023. The sign notices went out December 5th, 2023 as well. And Ranchland News was posted November 27th, 2023. Here are some vicinity maps. The first one is the Graham residence at 1397 Santa Fe Trail, Elizabeth, Colorado 80107. It is a residential agricultural RA zoned area in Elbert County. 1397 Santa Fe Trail is outlined in the red star here. And here's the property in location to the Elbert-Douglas County line. The red circle is 1397 Santa Fe Trail. The blue line is the Elbert-Douglas County line. It is, the next map is the map in location to the town of Elizabeth. It is about 5 miles south from Elizabeth. The yellow star here is the downtown area of Elizabeth, and the red circle is Santa Fe Trail. And Santa Fe Trail is a residential street off County Road 122. And here's the zoning map. It didn't quite copy over in large, but Santa Fe Trail is zoned residential agricultural, or RA, in Elbert County. It is circled here in purple. It's in the Chisholm subdivision, more specifically. Most of the land closest is also RA in the orange. The land a bit further away is the zoned agricultural in the green, and the land in the furthest left-hand corner on the left top is in the lighter green yellow is zoned AR. And this is a list of the responding referral agencies. No objections were received from the agencies. And Trina-Bragg Acres is registered with PACFA, Pet Animal Care and Facilities Act, which falls under the jurisdiction of Colorado's Department of Agriculture. According to the referral agencies we went through was Elbert County Building Department, Elbert County Community Economic Development, Elbert County Public Health, Elbert County Assessor and GIS Office, the Elbert County Engineer, the Town of Elizabeth, the Elizabeth Fire District, the Kiowa Conservation District, and the Mountain View Electric Association. And according to Article 2E5 of the Elbert County zoning regulations, there are 8 criteria, A through H, for special use by review request. The 8 criteria are as follows, and I'll go through and provide explanation as to why this SUR application meets all the requirements. The first one is A, the use is in harmony and is compatible with the surrounding area and neighborhood. The special use by review request, this special use for review request is for a small in-home dog breeding business, which is considered a particular use and needs approval by the Planning Commission and the Board of County Commissioners. The owner's residence is in a residential agricultural RA zone and is on approximately 27 acres of land, and owners in the area are allowed to have various types of agricultural animals, such as horses, chicken, pigs, and so on. Overall, the property can sustain the breeding of a few litters, approximately 5 according to Trina-Bragg Acres, of dogs per year, and it will not affect the surrounding neighborhood. And to give more background information, they plan to have less than 10 dogs. Trina-Bragg Acres breeds German short-haired pointers and Russell Terriers. The dogs are mostly kept inside. They sleep inside. They are not left outside if the owners are gone, and they're not outside for most of the day. Trina-Bragg Acres does not believe additional water will be needed for the dogs to be properly cared for. They have their own well and septic systems on site, and they do not believe they will need additional water and septic to care for the dogs. There is minimal noise. The only expected noise will be barking from the dog, and Samantha does control the dogs to not bark and to keep the barking to a minimum. There will be about 5 litters of puppies a year, probably in the spring and the fall, and the dogs will not be picked up at the residence by the new owners. There will be no traffic coming in or out of the Santa Fe Trail residence by new owners picking up their dogs. They will be met. Everything will take place at a different central location between the breeders and the new owners. So Samantha is the owner and the only employee. So there will be no traffic. There will be no increase in traffic. There will be no traffic from this project at all. And also as a note, the dogs are kept with Trina-Bragg for 8 weeks, at which point they go to new owners with all required veterinary vaccinations completed. The SUR, the use will not have an undue burden on the available infrastructure. The SUR under consideration is a private residence on a residential road off County Road 122. No infrastructure in the area is affected by this proposal, given it is an in-home business. No other roads in the area will be affected, and there will be no infrastructure or new development on the property or needed for the business in the area. And again, it's a in-home business with one employee, and there is not expected to be any traffic generated from this business. There will not be the use will not increase significant air or odor, water, noise, or light pollution. If there is any, it will be kept to a minimum for an owner, by the owner. As mentioned, any noise, such as barking, will be kept to the minimum by the owner, and all odor and waste from the dogs will be taken care of appropriately by the owners in a prompt and appropriate fashion by using the local waste management service. Water, they do expect to have enough for the dogs' use, and in the case they did not, they would purchase bottled water for the dogs' usage. All sanitation requirements will be met. The Elbert County Public Health Department reviewed the application and had no objections to the proposal. The property has an existing water well and septic system, and again, all waste will be properly disposed of quickly with the local waste services. The use will be adequately landscape buffered and screened. The proposed use does not require much, if any, additional landscaping, buffering, and screening. Our Elbert County zoning officer, Rick Young, did make a comment about perhaps screening the fence alongside the perimeter, but it's not binding, it's not mandatory. It was a suggestion, and the planning department nor Rick in the building department are requiring it. And finally, the use will not otherwise be detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of the present or future inhabitants of Elbert County. CDS staff and other agencies have found that this special use by review application will not be detrimental to Elbert County residents now or in the future. And lastly, H, whether supplemental standards are met for specific uses as applicable, and there are no foreseen supplemental standards for this SUR application. And for the comprehensive plan, this application meets the intent of the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan's vision statement, which is Elbert County, being rich in heritage, has a vision where property rights are respected and agricultural, commerce, industry, and residential growth are encouraged, thereby creating a path to economic prosperity. I think it's very important to stress here that Charnabragan Acres is a small family operated business with various types of agriculture and animals. It is a strong business model for Elbert County residents to follow, and it promotes economic prosperity for residents in the community. And to follow that back to the comprehensive plan regarding economic development and goal EG6, the county should support the development of agriculture, commerce, industry, education, healthcare, natural resources development, tourism, and residential growth. As I mentioned, it's a great small business for the community to have, and it's operated by residents who are located here in the county, and it will add to the local and state economy. So based on Article 2E5, A through H of the Elbert County zoning regulations and the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan, staff finds the following. It is in general in conformance with the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. It is generally compatible with the existing land and allowable land uses in the surrounding area. It will not have an undue burden on available infrastructure. It will not unduly increase traffic congestion or burden the available road system. It will not cause significant air, odor, water, noise, or light pollution. It will meet all sanitation requirements. It will be adequately landscaped, buffered, and screened. It will not be detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of the present or future inhabitants of Elbert County. And it will conform to all supplemental standards applicable for the proposed uses. And the conditions here is, of course, the applicant will be required to remove the public hearing sign within 7 days of the decision by the Board of County Commissioners. The Board of County Commissioners hearing will be on January 10th, 2024. So the sign will need to be removed by January 17th, 2024. And the special use shall not become effective until all fees are paid, conditions of approval are met, and the special use by review exhibit is recorded. And finally, recordation of all appropriate documentation is to occur within 180 days of the Board and County Commissioners' approval. And Community and Economic Development recommends the Planning Commission make a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners to approve the Trina-Bragan Acres application number SUR 2023-1397, a special use by review for a small in-home dog breeding business. Thank you for your time and participation tonight. I'd be more than pleased to answer any questions or comments you may have.
Good, very good, thank you. Okay, our applicant is Samantha Graham, is that correct? All right, do you have anything to add there? Or? Please, if you could go up, give us your name.
I'm Samantha Graham.
Okay.
My husband Alan Graham.
Okay.
We're the residents at 1397 Santa Fe Trail. The ones that did the proposal for our small scale
Do we need to turn the mic on?
It is on now.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for seeing us, and thank you for the very thorough introduction and the description of what we plan to do. As she said, my name's Alan Graham, and this is my wife, Samantha. I'm a veteran of Operation Iraqi Freedom and have been a career firefighter for 13 years. Samantha is and has been a registered nurse for 8 years, specializing in critical care. She also has a degree as a vet tech and is extremely competent with animals. We are members of the American Highland Cattle Association and have been present for the last 2 years at the Elizabeth Celtic Festival with our Highland cattle, as well as we show our Highland cattle at the National Western Stock Show, and we'll be there in this January. Trina-Bragan is a mashup of our kids' names, Charlie, Nolan, Braley, and Megan, who is not here with us. So that's where that comes from. It also has a Scottish sound to it. So we have a 17-year-old daughter who's a senior in high school and will be attending UCCS's nursing program in fall of 2024. We have a 14-year-old freshman right here at Evergreen High School that has excelled in gymnastics. Elizabeth High School. We came from Evergreen. and she took 4th in state as a freshman this year. We also have a first grader and a preschooler, Nolan and Charlie, who attend Running Creek Elementary, are active members in the Cub Scout Pack 636. I don't say all of this to boast, but rather to point out that we are involved in the community and our professions. We are busy raising our children with work ethic and responsibilities and love of all creatures. We moved to the community in 2021 from Evergreen to Elizabeth because we recognize that this community still does value a lot of the freedoms that we espouse. Regarding what we plan to do, we don't really have any foresight to go any further than what the county already permits. What we're asking for with the special use permit is to put a safeguard in place if we did happen to retain a dog beyond the 4 months when they start counting as one of the extra dogs. Even on the 27 acre, according to all the research that we did, the 27.8 acre lot that we have, we're only allowed to have 4 dogs, which is what we have currently. We did have some problems with previous dogs that we had that were German Shorthair Pointers, and they would jump fences. And when we first moved into the property, we had a lot of things that were in disarray. We've done nothing but improve the property and add fencing and put a lot of safeguards in place and continue to improve it aesthetically and functionally for us. We also had a lot of permitted building projects that took place over this last summer that a lot of the neighborhood probably did see happening. We had contractors coming and going and occasionally would leave a gate open, as well as the Amazon driver that occasionally would leave our front electronic gate open, and sometimes things did happen. But we are putting other safeguards in place. We do have 6-foot-high dog kennels that are all around. That is what we use. We only do have one German Shorthair Pointer now that we are still using for breeding. She has, correct me if I'm wrong, 6 points towards her towards
Her championship and confirmation.
as she has been shown. Basically what we're here to do is try to dispel any of the rumors. One of the biggest rumors that we've heard floating around the neighborhood is that we plan on boarding, and that is beyond our capability and beyond our wants. That has nothing to do with what we want to do or why we're here today. And 10 was the number that was recommended to us by the special use permit. The initial meeting that we had, that was a remote meeting that we did over the computer. 10 was the number recommended by some individuals that we were speaking with.
Yeah.
From the county, which 10 is even pushing the limits of what we are comfortable with doing.
Yeah, so right now we have 4 adult breeding dogs, but we want that, like he said, the safe place if we were to retain a dog. My parents just moved into our property. They have a little weenie dog. That would put us over the limit of 4, and we just want to do everything legally within Elbert County's rules and regulations and the zoning requirements. So that's why we applied for the special use. We only plan on having, I know she said 5 litters a year. We're actually only going to have 1 litter of puppies next year because we only have the 1 German Shorthair Pointer who's old enough to breed. We do not breed our females until they're 2 years of age. They have genetic testing. They have their hips and their elbows looked at, all those things. And then our other dogs are Russell Terriers. I don't know if you are familiar. It's a Jack Russell Terrier. It's a little 15-pound dog. So we plan on, they're not old enough yet. They're all a year or younger. So they won't be able to breed till they're 2. So their litters won't come through till 2025. And then my parents have a spayed little weenie dog, miniature weenie dog, who's what, 10 pounds? 10 pounds. So we just wanted to make sure that we're doing everything within the requirements of Elbert County. We have had previous litters in the past because the county does allow for a breeding of a litter. And I don't even know if any of our neighbors were aware that we've had litters in the past. We're so discreet about it. We don't allow people to come to our house because our puppies are unvaccinated. And we don't want outside people bringing in diseases that could harm our puppies that aren't vaccinated until they're 8 weeks. All our puppies go home with their vaccines at 8 weeks. They're microchipped. They're seen by the vet twice. They're dewormed throughout the entire thing. We have, all of our dogs are pedigreed dogs. They're not just like run-of-the-mill little mutts. I actually flew to Washington, D.C. to pick up one of our dogs. They all are AKC registered. I show them. I do barn hunt with them. We are very proud of our dogs and what we offer as far as the breed goes. And so we just want to do everything that we can for all of our dogs and our family.
Additionally, as a registered LLC, we have been, for the last couple of years, been paying into the taxes.
Yeah.
And on all of the sales of any of the puppies that
Yeah,
we've
so
had.
every puppy we pay sales tax. We have our LLC. We have complete, my mom is our accountant here. She does all of our taxes, our sales, the IRS, everything. It's all in place. And then I also want to inform everybody to let them know PACFA, which is, she had mentioned, it is the governing body of dog breeding and boarding in the state of Colorado, part of the Department of Agriculture. We have been with PACFA for over a year, and so that gives us the ability to be a licensed breeder in the state of Colorado. We get unannounced inspections anytime. They can just stop by and say, let me see your dogs, let me see your facilities, let me see their kennels, where do they sleep? Paperwork. And we just had our inspection November of this last year, so just a month and a half ago, and we passed. no issues, never had any issues. So they are very much in everything that we do.
That concludes the information that I think we have.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. What I would ask is that, I don't know what public comment will bring, but we may ask you to answer some questions if some come up.
Thank you.
Okay? All right. Now, at this time, we put it out for public comment. Do we have anybody who is wanting to speak? If you could. What I would ask is that first you give, okay, we've got a number of people, all right. So if you could, your name, your address, and what we would like to see is that you try
My
to
name
keep,
is-
okay, you try to keep the comments to 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay.
My name is Kirk Van Houten. I reside at 897 Santa Fe Trail in Elizabeth, Colorado. And I would like to know about the number of dogs total that they will have, including their own personal dogs.
You got a note on that, Roger? Okay, number of total dogs. Okay?
And that's number one. Number two is I'd like to know where the kennels will be located on the property.
Okay.
And number three, I'd like to know, in your synopsis, it said 2 litters, which could be more than 10 dogs. And I understand they were asking for a variance of 10 dogs. So my approval would be conditioned on the 10 dogs total. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. He could, great. Yeah, I know. You got him good. Okay, good, good. All right, next, looks like Michael Woods.
Okay.
I'm going by this list here, so, Mr. Woods.
I'm Michael Woods, 1610 Santa Fe Trail in Elizabeth. We're the first people to build in this area, in the Chisholm area, and have lived in Elbert County since 1980. I haven't talked to anybody in the neighborhood that's in favor of any businesses starting, especially an animal business. According to Google, there are 100,000 puppy mills, if you will, in the United States. I don't think we need another breeding operation going on. I can't believe there wouldn't be more traffic and more noise. My wife used to show dogs. I know that dogs can make some noise. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, next one is Kevin Scorrell? Scoville? Okay.
I'll get back up here quick. So a lot of the questions were answered. You guys did a great job in your presentation. So some of my questions are going to be,
Your address, sir?
1075 Santa Fe Trail, Elizabeth, Colorado.
All right.
Some of the questions may be answered more by you guys than them because they're regulatory questions. So I'm trying to figure out, is this a rezoning or is this more like an application?
This is just an SUR.
Okay. The other question is it individual to them or the property?
Okay, usually it will ride with the owner, and then the
So if they
property sold,
moved
they'll
it-
have to redo.
Yeah, okay. You answered about the kenneling. You answered a lot of the questions that I had, reading down through here. So it can't lead to any other use. If they wanted to start a kenneling operation, they'd have to apply for a kennel?
Mhm.
Okay. That's it.
Kennel operation? No, I thought he was gonna lease space to another kennel.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he can't. No.
Yeah, no.
That's not permitted under the SUR. Okay, next, David Tyndall. I have no comment. No comment? You good? Okay. Brandon Jeffries.
Hi there, I'm Brandon Jeffers, live at 33495 Greystone Circle in Elizabeth. I sit on the Elizabeth Main Street Board, so I'm familiar with what it's like to sit in your shoes, and thank you for what you do. I've been a client of Samantha's for the last 2 years, but purchased my puppy from her a year ago. I'm a dog trainer. I train for field trials, especially GSPs. I've been training under John Hannon Perfection Kennels for the last 11 years. We've produced more national championships than any other program in the country for the last 20 years. Wildly respected. I've purchased dogs from all over the country. It's a long process for me. I evaluated them for well over a year. Samantha knows I put her through the drill as it relates to whether or not I was going to buy a dog from her or not. Samantha and Alan impressed me the first time I met them at the Celtic event at the park, where you were showing your Highland cattle and your GSP that was there, and I obviously had an affection for the dog that they had there. The quality of their program is top-notch. The attention to detail is great and meticulous, because many breeders are fly-by-night, almost quasi-puppy mill. As someone mentioned before, here, that is a problem. That is not them. They are the epitome of what you want for a dog breeder of quality in this community, because they take the time to make sure they're not just breeding their females at whim. They don't breed every breeding cycle. I also talked to the vet that sees all of their animals, put her through the paces, and she talked about the consistency of their program and how they treat their animals with the medical care that they have. The fact that she's a nurse really stood out to me, because I knew she understood what quality care was. Because a lot of people get into breeding by accident, and hers was very intentional in the process that she took. I saw the quality of her female. Her female's gorgeous, has won many awards. They're underselling when they talk about what she's accomplished from a show standpoint. She beat him last year also showing their cattle, which I know she's really proud of, as at the stock show. I highly recommend them, not only as a dog breeder, but just as quality people in our community, and know that the care that they take for their animals. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Bridget Grant.
Bridget Grant, 1577 Santa Fe Trail in the Chisholm subdivision. And Samantha, I didn't hear, how are you going to sell your dogs? Do people come into the neighborhood? No?
Actually, present the question to us.
Oh, okay.
We'll take it back to
Okay, so that was one of my questions is, because 122 isn't the only county road. Most of our traffic comes from 9 and 15, and a lot comes from 9. And we don't get the grader very often. Our roads are in horrible condition, so I don't want to see any more traffic coming into Chisholm. And you're familiar with the roads. They suck. Anyway, so that was my concern, the traffic, how many dogs, and they have quite a few animals now, like 9 cows, and they have 4 horses or 6 horses. You have a lot of animals, so who is home to take care of the animals all day long? That would be a good question. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We have a Gretchen Carter? Sheila Carter? Sorry.
That's fine. My cursive, I should have printed. My name is Sheila Carter Field, and I live at 1498 Santa Fe Trail, right across the road from them. And I want to make it known that I'm not comfortable being here and saying the things that I'm going to say because I don't like to be in conflict with people. However, I want to find, I do have concerns. And it's not going to be real short. I'm sorry.
If you could, 3 minutes.
I will try my
please.
best.
Well, please try.
And so one of the things I'm not sure, I know it was mentioned, but I didn't hear an answer. What is the 10 dogs? Is it 10 dogs max, including their family pets, including their mother and father's pet as well? Anyway, so I wanted to make sure we understood that because, so I have some concerns. The first of, is what kind of precedent this is going to set for the future, for other people's applications for zoning changes, things like that. And I have concerns, actually that wasn't the first one, that was the second one. I have concerns about past incidences. We have lived at our residence since 2018. And I think you've moved in about 2 years ago, I think, was about 2 years ago. And the property the fencing was poor, everything was a mess. And they've done a lot to improve it. And the animals got out frequently. And we've had dogs mostly, but dogs, we have dogs, pigs, goats, horses, everything has been, and so I have concerns about, first of all, their safety, was why I called and contacted them and got in touch with them to let them know. And that didn't always go over real well because they took it the wrong way. I have concerns about animals running loose because we have coyotes, they could get hit by a car, they could, there are all kinds of things. They could spook a horse. We have many people in the neighborhood that have horses and ride. And now with the increased traffic, you can't even, I walk my dog almost daily. And it's hard to even walk your dog, much less ride a horse down the road because of the traffic that flies through the neighborhood. It's a 25 mile per hour, and people fly through the road. They have to be going 45 miles an hour. It's crazy. And then when you add loose dogs to the mix, it's not safe to ride a horse on the road anymore. Or in your own property, because the dogs come right over into your property and they could spook an animal, and they could get, even if there's no rider on the horse, and they could get injured. And it could be an injury that you'd have to put them down for if they break a leg or something. And so, there's that, and then it hasn't just been when the dogs haven't been loose, just during the time when the property was, when they first moved in and they were trying to fix it up and repair fences and stuff like that. It's happened. One of their German Shorthair came onto our property in late October and attacked one of our chickens, and thankfully she didn't die.
Pardon me, Chair, that's 3 minutes.
There's been incident after incident after incident, and it's just, so who do we contact if there are issues? And what happens if there are issues? Do they get their license revoked? Who do we contact? So there have been issues with the other animals. We've had even the cows have gotten out. I didn't mention them earlier, but my primary concern when I've called them to let them know too was because of their own animal safety. I'm an animal person, and I don't want to see an animal get hit by a car or cause an accident on a road or get eaten by coyotes, and but we can't. I don't know. I could go on. I have
okay.
A list.
No, that is good. We have got your point. We have taken notes, and I hope I can get your questions answered.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I ramble.
Oh, that's okay.
Nervous. And thank you.
Okay, we have a Richard Field.
My wife Sheila, I think, gave a lot of particulars, but I'd like to kind of summarize and give an overview. I live at 1498 Santa Fe Trail. During the time we've been neighbors with the Grahams, that we have been something of a collection point for just about every type of animal that they own, all right? And that includes horses and cattle. At times it's been comical, hadn't been a problem. We kind of took it good-naturedly, got the animals returned and so forth. But it's been the repetition of the loose animals that's been our concern. And my wife referred to a recent incident where one of the short hairs came over and attacked the chicken. At the same time, it spooked our two horses who bolted and took off running in the pasture. I understand a lot of improvements have been made to the property. Certainly, I'm glad to hear that. I appreciate that. But we need to make sure that whatever improvements have been made or need to be made, that those animals are contained. I've even got a picture on my phone of a baby goat that ended up in my barn last July. Okay, so just about every animal they've owned has gotten loose and has come over to our property. So that's our chief concern. And we want to make sure that those protections are built in. I have one question also for the process here. In the description of the application, it was stated that these animals were going to be bred in-home. Now, I'd like to know, does that mean literally within the house, within the residence, with occasional excursions out to the run outside, or what does that mean exactly? What does that term in-home refer to?
What is it? Okay, go to the reference.
And so thank you very much.
Thank you. You got that, Roger? Did you put that? Thank you. We got Lisa Woods.
I'm Lisa Woods. My husband, Mike Woods, has already spoken, 1610 Santa Fe Trail. As he said, we built our house out there well over 30 years ago, the first people to live out there. And I had dogs at one time, too. I showed Alaska Malamutes for years and years and years and years, so I get it. But I just wondered if you have 5 litters a year. I wrote all these notes, and then people have been talking, and I'm not sure what we've covered. But 5 litters a year, if that is the Pointers and the Russell Terriers, or is that 5 litters between the 2 breeds, or maybe sometimes, maybe not. And I just don't, if the new puppies, to count in your total, and I made a note that said 4 months old starts to count, and how many dogs you can have on your property. So if you don't sell these dogs, if you don't feel there's a good buyer, you don't want to sell them, then you continue to accumulate them while continuing to breed. So that is a problem. We live far enough away. I don't think I'll ever hear one of the dogs. And I certainly love dogs, and I'd love to come visit the dogs. But I hate to have them become a problem in a neighborhood that has been carefully controlled and very peaceful, and neighbors getting along together. And I hate to have something as sweet as dogs and puppies, cause a division. If I were these people and I've had them kill after my chickens and, wake up and I've got a goat on my front porch, I might be irritated. But I live far enough away, they won't wander down to me. But I do think it's important that they respect what they have told us, that is indeed the truth. That is indeed, because I don't think they're going to get a lot of people checking on where you have, this many litters, this many extra, puppies and that sort of thing. So that's my opinion.
Thank you. Jim Armstrong? No comment? Okay, thank you, sir. We have Jen Graham. Am I saying that right? All right. Am I saying Graham? Yeah. Jen Graham? Jen, no? It's been said? You're good? Okay. Samantha Graham?
That's you.
That's you? Okay. Yeah, well, I knew that. Okay. All right. All right. Suzanne Brennan?
Hi.
Hello.
Suzanne Brennan, 1554 Santa Fe Trail. And, most of the lots in Chisholm are only 10 acres, especially the ones around their house. So I am worried about sort of like the closeness of the houses to their house and the noise. So I live like 3 lots over, and there's definitely been a lot of barking every time I go outside my house. Now, in the last 3 days, the dogs have magically disappeared. They're not out. But I am concerned about barking, and then I'm concerned, well, if you're keeping these dogs in your house, what kind of exercise are they getting? What kind of, care? So that is a lot of dogs to have in the house. The kennel is at the front of the property, and so, the dogs are right there on the road, especially if they get out, that could be dangerous, and I haven't seen them because my whole property is fenced with dog fencing. It was stated that their electric gate, they've had issues with, but since I've been, living down the road from them, that electric gate never closes, and the front of the property does not have dog fencing. So the dogs get out of that kennel, they are running. So that is a concern for sure, and I do have concerns. The website actually shows 3 females and like with 15 different puppies listed. That is a lot of dogs to have in that house in the basement. So now I don't know if the website has not been updated, but it shows 3 female German short-haired pointers, their puppies, all available for sale. And then it says they're getting the Jack Russell. So I'm like, oh my gosh, they're gonna have like 60 dogs in the house, including puppies. I understand under 4 months doesn't count, but that's still a lot of animals to have in the house. And the kennel itself is not very big, so they would have to add additional kennels for these different females with their puppies outside the house. And like I said, the kennel right now is at the front of the house. So I think that would be something to consider about the location of the kennel and just the number of dogs. So those are my comments. Any questions for me? Thank you so much, but I am concerned about the barking and what the recourse would be if the barking gets excessive.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jeff Lovato?
Good evening. My name's Jeff Lovato. I'm at 926 Stage Run Trail, which is bordering the Graham's property. So pretty close neighbors, that kind of thing. I'm just here to say I have no objection to what they're doing. Never had any run-ins with any dogs or cattle, no broken fences. I feel comfortable that things will be handled in a professional way. I've seen the improvements. They're a hard-working family. We're all trying to do what we can do. Sometimes things get out. I've rounded up horses for other neighbors. It happens. Sometimes dogs get hit by cars and horses get hurt by whatever. Either move forward from that or you go to court. So I'm here to support them. Other than raising kids, I don't know of anything that's more difficult than raising puppies. So good luck. I hope it works out for you.
Okay, that takes care of our list. Is there anybody else who has any public comment? Hearing none, so what we'll do, okay, we have, essentially, there's a number of things that came up from the public comment, and I would ask, yes, sir?
I would like to make a comment.
Well, step up. Sir?
Jim Grant, 1577 Santa Fe Trail.
Jim Grant, okay.
Got cows, got dogs, got goats. You work, you go to school, you're involved in sports. I got 7 grandkids, and I know what it takes to get somebody involved in sports. They play football, baseball, volleyball, basketball, all the sports in school. It takes a lot of time. If you're both working, who's going to take care of the critters when you're out there? The last time I counted, there's only 24 hours in a day. And you work hard, and I appreciate your service. Okay? How are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? How are you going to take care of all these animals? And if y'all sitting up there don't think it's going to increase the traffic on Santa Fe Trail, it will. Santa Fe Trail now is just like a sub-road of 86 because they think it's a highway. And it's ridiculous. And the traffic is getting worse, and the road doesn't get any better because Elbert County only has so much money to go around. So, that's it.
Sure. Thank you. Did you get his name? Okay. Roger, thank you. Okay, one more time. Any more comments? All right, we're going to close public comments. So at this time, we have a number of questions that came up, and I think, okay, where are we at here, Roger? First ones, let's see if we could do number of dogs, and I believe you went over that, but if you could restate the number of litters, the number of dogs you're going to have total, where they're going to be, you know, where you're planning on keeping them, until what age. I think that will kind of clarify some things for some of the questions that a lot have, if you could, please.
Okay, so to answer everyone's question, we are only asking for a maximum of 10 dogs. That's to give us the buffer in case a puppy has to stay. It allows my parents to have their dog. Currently, we only have 4 adult breeding dogs that are over the age of 4 months old. And so we are at the county limit. We are just applying to add it just in case. The puppies, we only are going to have 1 litter in 2024, which is a litter of GSP puppies. They have on average a litter of 8 puppies. We've had as little as 3 puppies. It just depends. We can't guarantee the size of a litter until we do an ultrasound or an x-ray at the end of their pregnancy. So we're only having 1 litter of puppies next year. Jack Russell Terrier litters are only 3 to 5. They only have 3 to 5 litters. On the very rare occasion, they might have 7. But that's
3 to 5 in the litter.
3 to 5 puppies in the litter. But again, we're not breeding those dogs until 2025 when they reach 2 years of age. So we will only have 1 litter of puppies next year. Our dogs are our dogs. They're our personal dogs. All these breeding dogs are our personal dogs. We're not adding extra dogs on top of breeding dogs, including my parents. The only dogs on the property are going to be less than 10. Our personal dogs, which are our breeding dogs, and my parents' dog. So that would make us at 5 right now with my parents' dog. So that answers everybody's question is we won't have more than 10 dogs, running average 5 to 6. As far as the over 4 months of age, I have a wait list of people who want our puppies. I already have 5 people on a wait list for our GSP puppies. That's not even bred yet. She won't go into heat for another 5 months. And so I already have a deposit, like people just waiting. I have 1 person on the list for the Russell Terriers because I've not been advertising them because they're still puppies. So our puppies have never gone over 8 weeks at our house, ever. All of our puppies our puppy buyers go through the AKC website. They go through our personal website as well. And so a lot of the contact is virtual, and a lot of our puppies are shipped out of state. Can't tell you how many times I went to the airport to ship a puppy. So as far as the extra traffic that's going to occur, again, we don't allow puppy people to come to our house to protect our puppies. Puppies don't get vaccinated until they're 8 weeks old. Puppies don't go home till they're 8 weeks old. So we don't allow extra foot traffic to come to our house. If you're interested in a puppy, I FaceTime, I video chat, I do all those extra things to, let people have the peace of mind, like, hey, they're not a scammer, but we don't let people come to our home. I don't want extra people coming to our home. We have little kids. The world it can be creepy. So it also is a good, safe protection for our family as well. We also have, And then I think people are asking where they live as well.
Where they live and containment.
Yes, so we actually have 3 kennels on our property. The biggest one is out front. That one is only utilized during nice weather days because it is quite big and it doesn't get a whole lot of sun because of trees. So a lot of snow stays in that area. So we also have 2 back kennels in our backyard that people cannot see from the road. The kennels are 20 feet by 10 feet, 6 feet tall. And that's connected to our house, and they go in and out through a dog door. Underneath of it is chicken wire. They can't dig out. On top of the chicken wire is pea gravel. So even if they tried to dig out, they can't because there's chicken wire on the ground. There's no way that they can escape because, again, the Jack Russell Terriers are 11 inches tall. They can't climb up 6 feet. And our German Shorthair Pointer can't jump a 6-foot fence.
And the German Shorthair Pointers that were mentioned earlier that were problematic have been rehomed. And want to assure Sheila and Dick and everybody else that we recognize that to be a problem, and so we did rehome them for that reason. The cattle occurrence was one time, and we did have a gate left open at the front of our property where horses did get out one time. Maybe that's all that I can think of.
Yeah.
At least that we have on record, because Dick and Sheila would text us anytime that they had any problem, except for the one time that they state about a chicken being harmed, which is the one time that we never did hear from either of you.
Yeah, what's the point? It already happened and,
And we rehomed our GSPs months ago, so I don't.
No, this happened October 27th.
I rehomed
All
my
right.
dogs October 6th.
This is not a conversation between people out here. We're trying to get the questions answered. Okay.
Were there other questions that were written down that we?
Okay, we haven't. Okay, animals when off to school, working, stuff like that, who is taking care of them?
So yes, I work 24/7. I'm home 24/7. I work from home. I take a remote job.
Okay, all right, that was.
She works from home, and her parents, who are retired, live above the garage
with you
in the new build, and so
So you were actually, okay.
There are typically 3 adults there on the property at all times.
We're gonna go there, but I'm gonna refer those to someone else.
Yep. And as a career firefighter for North Metro Fire, I work in Broomfield and Northglenn. I work 48 hours on and 96 off. So I'm home 4 of the 6 days.
Okay. Done. Okay, now, a number of questions came up about a zoning change. I remember hearing a zoning change. I remember who's going to monitor it, who you call when the dogs are barking, stuff like that. I would like to refer, Mark, can you guys go over your requirements for an SUR and what is monitored by the county?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mark Denry, Director of Community and Economic Development. So as it relates to this particular application, this is not a rezone. This is a special use by review. This is something, if approved, could be revisited on an annual basis. If there are concerns, complaints, those type of things that come from the public, then that would actually go to code enforcement within the county. So there are definitely some mechanisms in place if there are concerns that come up.
Okay, that took care of that. Second one, Mark, you talked to the rezone and the inspection and who it's reported to. The other thing that was brought up was establish a precedence. How many SURs, I don't know how long you've been here, how many SURs for dog kennels have we heard?
For dog breeding or dog kennels?
Dog breeding, kennels.
Yeah, I mean, I've been with the county.
I don't know how, if you.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, sir.
Good. I don't know if you have record of that.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, offhand, I don't. I've been here for 3 years. I've been in this position for a little less than 1 year, and I can only remember a few.
A few?
If that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, then I might be able to, a little bit of insight. Offhand, I can remember 5 that were brought to us as SURs. Okay, so I know, so as far as this being the only operation out here, no. There are many kennels. The one thing that I find surprising, you brought this to the county, correct? Okay. All right. So, what did you have, Roger? That one, or the exercise. Okay, good. All right, what does in-home breeding mean? There was a question as to, an individual brought that specifically. Can you
Yeah.
enlighten us on that?
So all of our puppies are born in our house. We have built whelping boxes to allow the mom to go in, get comfortable. That's where she gives birth. That's where she raises her puppies until they start to really walk. And then it's in our basement. We have a finished basement. Everything's tile. Everything is to the PACFA requirements. You can't have puppies on carpet, that kind of stuff. Porous flooring. You have to have all the disinfectants, things like that. Once they get to walking age, we put that 6-foot kennel, we have extra, in our basement because we have 9-foot ceilings. And so then they're kenneled, and then they can go in and out that doggy door in our back to go out to go potty. So a lot of the times our puppies are potty trained before they even go home because they know how to use a doggy door because they are all in our home. A big disease that puppies can get is parvo. Parvo is found in the dirt. So we try to keep our puppies out of the dirt, off the soil, until they get their first vaccination at 8 weeks.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think somebody specifically wanted to know where the breeding was taking place.
That could be. You guys know?
It was the
All
term
right.
that was used in the application.
All right, just wanted to make sure.
In-home breeding.
Okay, so we've got that answer.
Okay.
Good. What was the last one?
He just answered the part about.
How are they exercised? Yeah, you did. Okay. Traffic.
I think we've answered that.
Yes. And road maintenance, call the county. Folks, I don't know what else to tell you. Call the county. I mean, off 33, off 29, off, yeah, so, okay. No, okay. No, I'm sorry.
Who to contact about problems?
Okay, I think we've
It's
covered.
kinda covered.
All right. Mark, you covered who to contact when you have problems regarding the zoning and the annual inspection that's supposed to take place with an SUR and stuff like that. Okay, there was another comment about the dog barking. I believe the call goes to the sheriff, correct?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. You can contact the county and ask for the code enforcement officer, and then also the sheriff's office.
And you can go to the sheriff's office.
Anything related to noise.
Yeah. Noise is covered by the code enforcement people and the sheriff's office. So, okay, with that, at this time, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go around the table, and we're gonna start on that end. Questions on our end?
So any lighting that would be new, would it be down lighting? Like if you have facilities outside these kennels, you obviously at nighttime, if they're out at night, dogs have to go to the bathroom on their own times. But is there down lighting so it's less light pollution?
Yes, we do have a back porch light, and when we let them out in the evening, it's typically on the back side of the house, which is down from everybody else. Yes, sir. Okay, correct.
And somebody brought up fencing and stuff, so in case of a wild hair escape, do you have fencing that keeps them that third layer?
So, yes, now we do. So when we first moved in, we had horrible fences. The gates were falling down. So we did have a lot of escaped, jumped GSPs when we first moved in. I can actually tell you the exact amount of times and text messages I received from Dick and Sheila on our escaped dogs in each individual year. But in the last 18 months, we have completely redone our property. Our fences have been fixed, gates have been fixed. Our kennels, the 6-foot tall kennels, those are brand new. But we also have a backyard fence surrounding that's probably 1/8 of an acre.
And we are currently receiving estimates right now to get an additional backyard.
Yeah, to make it higher, because right
Now
now
that-
it's 4 feet. We'd like it higher.
We recently had some permitted, a garage and an accessory dwelling unit that was completed in, I believe it was September, that it was just completed, so.
Yeah.
We're working on
So we'll have a
connecting that.
backyard fence
With kennels inside
outlining
that.
with the kennels inside the fence. Our dogs also wear e-collars. I don't know if you're familiar with an e-collar. It's an in-ground fence that they wear the collar. They go up to the fence. It beep, beep, beep. If they go past it, it will shock them. That doesn't mean that they won't run past it, so it does take training to get your dog to abide by that. So we do have that safeguard as well. We don't have, our driveway is open. You know, they were mentioning that, yes, our gate is open. We keep our gate open because Amazon will open it, they don't close it. So yes, our electric gate is open all the time. But I also don't want my little short hairs running around, or my Russell Terriers running around. We have coyotes. They're 15-pound dogs. That is the last thing that I want, is my dogs to run loose. So we do everything. And these are not cheap dogs. So it would be a huge loss for us to not have proper fencing.
Sounds like you've made a lot of improvements. Sounds like you're getting the system down. When, was it 18 months that you had your last escape or incident with the Amazon? Was it 18 months ago, or
So we
what's
have
the
a
history on?
Yeah, I can actually pull it up right now. So we did receive a text message on December 11th, just a couple days ago, that our dogs were out running around. I was outside with them. They were in sight. They had their collars on with their recall. I was with them, but we did receive a text. We did say, I think it was you received a text.
And we do have an obstructed view, I think sometimes of parts of our property where they can't see us, but they being anybody, any persons that are out across the road.
Before that, it was August 18th, 2023. It said your dogs are over here. We only had the one GSP at that time, so it had to have been a dog. She also had just had a litter of puppies. Just today, I printed out, there's 4 dogs in the neighborhood surrounding within a 2-mile radius, 4 dogs that were seen out running around. If it is our dogs, absolutely, I'm gonna take responsibility, but who's to say it's not somebody else's dog as well? We also have many text messages of, your pigs are over here. My pigs are in their pen. So there's just a lot of like, hey, anytime I feel like an animal's out, it's our fault. But I will absolutely say, let me check, let me see what I can do, let me get the animal. And I don't know if our neighbors are also aware of the Colorado open range law. We keep our animals on our property because our highlands are not cheap either, and we want to keep our animals contained, 100%. Please follow and read the Colorado open range law.
I have a couple questions for Mark real quick, if I could. What's our policy on waiving the community meeting? Because this might have been a great opportunity to have a community meeting.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Commissioner. So basically, in our regulations, we have an option for applicants to request that a community meeting is waived. That would be the CDS director takes a look at that request, and I looked at this particular case, and based on the small scale nature of the special use by review, felt it was it was appropriate, and also given the fact that there are two public hearing opportunities with this application, one being this hearing tonight for the Planning Commission, and then also with the Board of County Commissioners public hearing that will come after this.
And then just one more clarification. There's an annual review done for the SUR? Is there an annual inspection, or is it just a administrative review? How does that work?
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's actually written in the regulations that an SUR can be reviewed. There are many special use by reviews that could go years and years, or maybe they're never looked at again necessarily. These things typically are complaint driven.
Thank you. That's all I had.
No, I have no questions at this time.
Yeah, I'm go back to the number of dogs again. You said you would possibly have up to 10 dogs. You have 4 adult dogs now that are yours. Who would be the other 6?
It's if in case it ever happened. So when our dogs turn of retirement age to where they can no longer breed, it is our goal, depending on, my daughter is falling in love with one of ours, that we rehome them. We don't keep them till they're 15, 16, 17 years old. We rehome them to family members, to friends, things like that. And then we replace the retired one with a younger available, we call them bitches in the dog world. So we only plan on having 4 adult breeding dogs at one time. That's all that I want to maintain. While yes, I do work from home, I still have kids, we still have a life, things like that. But I don't ever want to hit that 10 mark. That's just too overwhelming for our family, for what I'm comfortable doing. We were just said, hey, give us a number of how many dogs that you could have max. I threw out 10 because we could anywhere on average have 4 to 6.
The 10 is extremely unlikely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, in addition to that, so you have 4, let's just use the number 4.
Mm-hmm.
And each adult dog could have a litter at the same time?
Not the male.
Oh, you have one?
We have a male.
One of them,
we have
one
a
of
stud.
the adults is a male.
And you use that male for breeding also?
Yes.
And other than that, well, that's the other question, other than that, you bring in dogs to breed?
No. So the dogs that we purchase are our dogs. Those are our dogs that we're going to breed. So I have 1 male, and then I would have 3 females. He would breed all 3 of those females. I don't plan on keeping those puppies because I can't breed the puppies to the dad. Those are all going to be rehomed. When it comes to time where the females are of retirement age, can no longer breed, we will rehome them, either retain a puppy, find a new stud. They also do artificial insemination that your vet does.
And I just want to jump in here to clarify the question. We may use an external stud to come in, but he would only be there for 1 to 3 weeks at most.
Or they go. So the last time we bred, we sent them to Valhalla Gun Club. They bred there.
Off-site?
Off-site.
Okay, so now we go back, now we've got 1 male and 3 females, and you could have 3 litters at the same time?
We wouldn't do that.
No. So I will skip heat cycles. So a female dog has a heat cycle every 4 to 6 months. And so if it's going to be where 2 of my females are in heat at the same time, I will skip 1, and I will just have 1 litter.
So theoretically, you're saying you're really looking at 1 litter at a time?
1 litter per female per year.
And you could have up to 5 litters in a year?
If I had 5 breeding females, I only have 3 right now. So we're looking at 3 litters.
So you could have 3 in 1 year, but not at the same time?
Correct.
Okay, and then those
And if the heat cycles lined up, we would choose which one we wanted and not proceed with two at the same time.
So those pups, then you said stay pups until they're 8 weeks, and then you sell them.
Yes, so the state of Colorado, the legal requirement is 8 weeks. You cannot sell a puppy less than 8 weeks. We keep them till 8 weeks. They go to their new homes right at 8 weeks.
So that would not count as any of the adult dogs. You would not have those as adult dogs on your property.
No.
Say again? Yeah.
We haven't had that problem yet, but it could happen. But that's why we're trying to put this safeguard in place. Yeah. Yes. Always a possibility.
And that would be temporary, according to what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
To answer your question, right? So that would count above the 4 that you have now, up to possibly 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever. But your point is, you want to maintain 4? That's your intent. And right now, are they all Jack Russells?
So we have one German short-haired female. She's 3, so she will be retired at 5. So we only have 2 litters left for her. And then once she is done and retired, we're going to go strictly to Russell Terriers.
Then my next question was, when your adult dogs, that are your dogs, are they out on the property loose?
No, typically not. I would say 90% of the time they are behind the fencing. The only time they're out is, so we have 27 acres. Back on December 11th, I was out with our dogs. I went down to feed the cows. They were in visual sight on our property. So yes, we do take them out occasionally, but never without any visual.
And they do stay with you? So
yes, they have collars on that they go too far.
You said earlier about the electronic fencing. Where is that on your property?
So it's a GPS, so we can change it if we want. And so they do have the in-ground where you bury a wire, so then you can, but that's...
You don't have that?
No, ours is the GPS. So we can change it anytime we want.
Okay, so when you were reading your list a minute ago, this lady said that the problem with her dog or your dog on her property with the chicken was in October, but you said you didn't have a record of that.
They never texted us until December 11th.
So they did contact you recently about that?
About another occurrence, but nothing involving the said chicken episode.
Okay. And you think that was your dog, or you don't know?
I'm not sure. We rehomed 3 of our GSPs October 6th. And our black GSP female, she's a princess, but I don't know. If they have video or photo or anything like that, that would be great and helpful.
Well, it sounds like you're trying to control them. I was just curious about how you manage to keep dogs like, that many dogs controlled too. That's all I have. Thanks, Kenny. Kevin?
So real quick, just 2 questions. On your website, you talk about consignment and consigning your puppies. How does that work?
So we had a female, an outside person, wanted to breed to our male GSP when we owned him. So we studded him out. He went and bred the female. When he was done, he came back. He got her pregnant. And so he's now selling the puppies. And because it was our stud, I just put them on the website. Hey, these puppies are available. All these puppies are in Greeley. They're his dogs. I'm just using my website to help him advertise.
Great, okay, thank you. That helps. And then two other points around the dogs and their activities. GSPs are highly active dogs, need a lot of exercise, a lot of room to run and practice their hunting skills. So, on 27 acres you can do that, but you're talking about 2-3 dog runs. You're not really going to get the kind of exercise. So how do you manage that exercise and those kind of training requirements?
We only have the one GSP.
All right.
And as she previously stated, when she ages out, we are done with German Shorthair.
That's not answering my question, right? So
Okay.
how do you get the activity? How do you get the training?
Yeah, so she has an e-collar that she's been trained on by bird trainers. And so anytime you hit the button, she recalls. And so what we'll do to take her out is we'll take her, we have a Kubota, and so we'll take her running on our Kubota. She has not bird hunted herself because she's a show dog. So she is trained to sit, stay, stand. She baits. She's not your typical GSP, not this one anyway. She's very different, but yes, as far as exercise goes, we take her running on our property with Kubota, or I take her out, but she always has her collar on with us. She's always supervised because she is a GSP. She could take off. She could see a rabbit or chicken or whatever, and so I always make sure that she has that collar on to be recalled.
Great, thank you. That's the only questions I had.
Dan?
Yeah. Actually, first of all, I want to thank you for your service. Thank you, sir. All my questions got answered, so I don't have anything more.
Anybody else? Okay, call for a vote.
I'll make a motion that we recommend to the county commissioners that they approve SUR
2023.
2023, 1397. Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And your second was?
No, sorry. Robert? Okay. With that, we did have a unanimous vote, right? Correct. Okay. All right, folks, thank you. That is, I hope we got everybody's question answered, and I hope.
Are you voting for adjournment?
We've got to meet for just a minute. I think we're going to have treats.
That's after the fact.
After adjournment.
You want to do it after adjournment? Well, I have something to say too, before we close.
The chair has the floor.
So.
Commissioners, please turn your microphones off. Your microphones off.